Hello. Today we're going to talk about 10.2, the focus and directrix of a parabola. Okay, so first you want to know what a parabola is. All right, it actually is, you can define it like you do a circle. Right, a circle is the set of all points equidistant from a certain point, right, the center. Well, a parabola is a set of all points that are the same distance from a fixed line and a fixed point. So, an easier or better diagram than that one is this one. So notice here, we're going to have every distance to the point, okay, the black line is your quadratic, and every point on there, well, this distance is not the same as L1, all right, that distance varies. It's always the same distance directly down perpendicular with the directrix. Okay, so this is equal to that. This is equal to that. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say here. Okay, so a focus is a point and the directrix is a line. Now, I get a lot of kids that accidentally graph them incorrectly. So I like to think of a parabola as, kind of put your hands up like you're cupping something. Okay, so your hands are the parabola, and the focus goes inside because you hold your focus. Okay, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hold your focus. The directrix is on the outside of the parabola. The parabola is going away from it. Okay, don't put your directrix right here. Okay, it's not, don't do that. Okay, so to be more specific, right, if we wanted to find our focus and directrix, it helps to know your vertex, right? So that's our vertex, and this distance straight up to your focus and straight down to your directrix, that's the equidistant, and that's called your focal length. Okay, so let's do an example. Well, actually, I'll just put it here just so you know it for algebraic reasons. Okay, so the focal length, we'll call that P. Focal length is P, and the formula to get your P is 4AP equals 1. There are lots of books that say a lot of different things here that write this as a fraction, but I find when you don't write it as a fraction, right, writing it this way, it's easier to remember. So about 4 AP classes per student. I mean, I hope that's not the average, but yeah, 4 AP for 1. That's how you got to remember. So let's do an example. So we want to write an equation of a parabola with the vertex at the origin and the given information. So let's graph it. And by graph, I mean just doing a quick sketch is fine. So we know the vertex is at the origin, and the focus is at 0, 4. So this is my focus, and this is my directrix. What am I saying? My vertex, I can talk. Okay, so remember, your parabola is, your vertex is going to go in between your focus and directrix. So if I am going up 4 to my focus, then I need to go down 4 to my directrix. And your directrix is a asymptote. Well, not like an asymptote. It's you draw it like a dotted line, okay? Because it's not part of your. It's an element of your graph, but not an actual like points on your graph. Okay. So then from here, all right, I know I can sketch it going up because the hands of the parabola are like my hands, and I'm going to hold the focus. So we want to write an equation. So I like to write things in vertex form. So y equals a parentheses x minus h squared plus k. So our vertex is h comma k. And think about a, well, I learned a new formula, 4ap equals 1. So, looking at what we have, the vertex here is 0, 0, and here the focal length is p. So if that distance is p, I can plug in that to find out what a is. So 4a times 4 equals 1. So 16a equals 1. So a equals 1 over 16. I now have a, h, and k. So now I have my equation. And since h and k are just 0, I can write it like this. Okay? If you're a little unsure and you want to make sure that I read this correctly, you can put your fraction in a parentheses. Okay? But make sure you don't put that x squared on the bottom. It doesn't go in the denominator. It would go in the numerator. Okay. All right, let's do some more. Okay, so again, I'm big on sketching because I'm a visual person. So, vertex at the origin, and the directrix is at y equals 3. So 1, 2, 3. So that's my directrix. So if I went up 3 to get my directrix, that means I need to go down 3 for my focus. And my parabola must go down because my focus is underneath. My parabola's got to hold the focus. Okay, so think about your equation. And think about what you need. Your vertex and your A. So our vertex here is at the origin, so 0, 0. And here we know 4a times p, well, p is 3, right? That focal length. So a must be 1 over 12. There we go. 1 over 12 times x squared. All right, I know. Let's keep doing it. Okay, so here, if I've got my parabola, I want to find the vertex, focus, and directrix. So I know I can find the vertex because that's just doing negative b over 2a. So negative 12 over 2 times 3. So we get negative 2. We get k by plugging in negative 2. So 3 times 4 is 24 plus 7. Okay, so our vertex is negative 2, negative 5. Now we want to find our focus. So let's think about our graph. We know it's down here, and we know our a value is positive, so we know it's going to go up. So we know our focus is up here somewhere, and our directrix is down here. Well, we need to figure out what p is. So 4AP equals 1, and oh, that's a. So 4 times 3 times p is 1, right? So p is 1 over 12. So that distance is 1/12. So if we're going to move up and down, we're adjusting our y value, right? This is at -5, and we want to go down 1/12 to get our directrix. So, all right, our directrix, think about it. If we started at y equals -5, we'd be at my vertex. But we want to go down 1/12. So then we just subtract. So this is going to be so your directrix is -61/12. Our focus, well, if you think about it, we started at our vertex, but then we're going to go up 1/12, that p-value. So if we're going to go up, we're adjusting our y, and we're increasing it by 1/12. So this is -60/12 plus 1/12. So our focus is -2, then -59/12. That's our focus. So our vertex, our directrix, and our focus. I know, it's a lot. I'll keep doing some more. Okay, let's try another one. So, start with the vertex. Do your h. We're going to do -b all over 2a. So we get +1/2/8. Keep change flip, 1 times 8/2. Division changes to multiplication, fraction flips, so you get 4. So our k value, we just got to plug that in. Okay, so now we get 2 minus 4 plus 3. So -2 plus 3 is 1. So our vertex is at 4, 1. So if I think about it as a graph, 4, 1 is going to be like right here. And since our a value is positive, I know this is going to be increasing. So my focus is going to go up to here. So how do I get my focus? I take the original vertex and I adjust the y value. Since I'm going up, I'm going to add that p-value. Well, I need to figure out what that p-value is. So 4AP equals 1. So 4 times 1/8 times p equals 1. 1/2 p equals 1. Therefore, p equals 2. So I'm going to go up 2. So my focus is now at 4, 3. Now I get my directrix. So that's y equals, because it's a horizontal line, we're going to go down and get a line that looks like this. And we're going to go down that distance of p. So you take your original vertex y value, so you started at that 1, and we go down, so we're going to subtract our p value. Okay, so our directrix is y equals -2. Okay. So now let's write an equation. So maybe it'll help to do something a little bit different, right? Throw a different problem, but same idea, understanding the vocab. So I like to draw things out. So we have our vertex at 0, 3. There's our vertex. Our focus is at 0, 5. So based on that information, I know my parabola has to go up because it contains the focus. So if the focus went up 2, that means the directrix must go down 2. Alright, so now we want to write the equation of a parabola. So we have y equals a x minus h squared plus k. So that's great. We already have our h and our k, but now we need to figure out what a is. So we use 4ap equals 1. So p is our focal length, which is 2. So 4a times 2. So a is 1/8. So plug in what you have. Y equals 1/8. X minus 0, so just x squared, plus 3. There's your equation. Alright, let's do one more for good measure. Alright, draw it out. Okay, I'm just doing a quick sketch. I'm not doing anything fancy with graph paper, but you can if you want to get a better comprehension. Okay, so our vertex is at -2, 1, and our focus is at -2, -3. So based on that, we know our vertex, our parabola has to be going down. And since I went down 4, right, the distance from 1 to -3 was 4, that means I'm going to go up 4 and get my directrix. Alright, just to get a visual. So let's do our equation. So we need all these values. So let's find out what our a is. Okay, because we already have our h and our k. So 4ap equals 1. So 4 times a times, was our distance, 4. So a equals 1/16. So our equation is y equals 1/16 x minus -2 squared plus 1. Do not leave it minus a negative, okay? We can simplify that. Okay, let's not be lazy. I mean, I'm all for being lazy, but that's like silly lazy, okay? Alright, so hopefully vertex and focus makes sense now. If it doesn't, just ask away in class, alright? I'm here for you.